In this video, I'm going to talk about the 3 things that I wish I knew when I first started oil painting. Hi, welcome to Paint Coach. I'm Chris Fornatero, here to help simplify oil painting so you can get better, faster. All right, so no demo today, but I know a lot of you out there are learning how to paint solely off of content online. And honestly, that's how I learned a lot of painting. My history with learning how to paint was I did watercolors and acrylics since I was 9, 10 years old, and I was always afraid to jump into oils. And I took a very basic oil painting class at like a community art center for about a year and just kind of learned the basics of it. But in terms of actually learning the style I wanted to learn and how I wanted to paint, I kind of had to come up with that on my own through anything I could get online. And when I started this, the content online was not what it is today. So I just want to address 3 things that I feel I wish I knew when I first started to oil paint. The first thing is drawing is always important. Don't ever think that you are above drawing or you don't need to practice drawing. Everybody always needs to be practicing drawing. Drawing is king. I know I did, you get into a way of thinking because a lot of people draw first. It's the first thing to do because it's the easiest to, pick up. All you need is a pencil and paper. So a lot of people start with drawing and then they'll progress onto other things, whether it's acrylics, watercolors, oils, and somehow they think that it's painting is above drawing, and it's all, once I've moved on to painting, I don't need to go back to drawing. They think of it as drawing is like kind of doing a step back, and it's not at all. You always need to be practicing drawing. I learned this the hard way a couple years ago, and I realized my drawing needs a lot of work. You do practice drawing as you're painting. You're gonna have to draw to paint, and you're naturally gonna get better just through painting more. But to take the time and just pick up the pencil and just draw and get better and really focus on that, it's going to make your painting, it's going to make you get better at painting a lot faster because so much of it is drawing. I heard an artist say that drawing is the one thing we don't forgive, really. Your colors could be off and it could still be a great painting. Your values could be a little off and it could still be a great painting. But if your drawing is off, especially with things like portraits, landscapes, it's just people, they don't really forgive that when looking at it. It's just not going to, you're just never going to get what you want if you don't really hone in your drawing skills. All right, number 2 is that there are a lot of different ways to learn how to paint. So be careful. I ran into this problem over the years of consuming content online, whether it's digital downloads, videos, stuff like that. And I do recommend digital downloads. I do believe they are worth it. I've paid and bought a lot of really good downloads from some really great painters and taken away a lot of stuff from those. And they also have a great rewatch value. Like, I will rewatch those years from when I bought them because my perception of painting is completely different and I can pick up totally new things. But there's so many good painters out there and so much content that it's so easy to get kind of lost. And I had this happen to me is I would see somebody, I'd really like how they paint, and so I would try to paint like them, their method of painting, their way of painting, and I'd find somebody else. I'm like, oh, I really like that. And so I'd go and try and do that. It happened specifically when I was trying to learn how to plein air paint. I would see one artist that I really liked and I'd want to use the materials they used and paint on the size canvas they painted on and use the paints they used and their method and their process and everything. And I'd find somebody else and I'd do the same thing, and I was just kind of bouncing back and forth, and I was just kind of spinning my wheels for a while of not really making any progression. So find someone you like, find a process that you like, and stick with it for a while. Stick with it until you get comfortable, especially if you're just starting out. Find something that you understand, and there are different processes that are easier for certain people to understand. Everybody thinks differently. There's certain painters that I see their process on, their paintings are amazing, But how they go about doing it, I would just never do that just because my brain doesn't work that way. And there's other ones that I'll see and I go, oh, that just makes total sense to me to paint that way. That's how I would go about doing it. So I tend to gravitate and learn from those painters instead of trying to force myself into a way of painting that's not natural. And that doesn't mean that I completely block everything out. I've gotten decent at picking and choosing the information that I want from everybody. Don't ever just completely block somebody out. That's never good. Always be open to new ways of doing things, but still understand what works for you. It's just so important when you're starting out to gain momentum. And in order to gain momentum, you want to stick with a certain process until you've seen progress to give you momentum and confidence to move forward to try other things. All right, and the third thing is surround yourself with people that are better than you. This doesn't, you can do this physically. You can get into a drawing class, like a figure drawing class that meets up, or an instructor's class, in-person class, or that means constantly looking at painters, online, make, what who you follow on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that, the people you buy, like constantly be looking at great painters, because this always happens with me is I'll think, oh yeah, I'm doing good, this is good, like I feel like I'm really progressing, and I am. And right when I get to a little too confident, I will see somebody who's way ahead of me and realize, oh, I don't know anything. I have so much further to go, which is great. You always have somewhere to go. If you didn't, then you would stop painting. So always have artists in your life, whether it's really in real life or online, that are going to push you to be better than what you currently are, and to be realistic about where your skills are at. It's very easy to get overconfident and think that you got a handle on this, but then you see somebody else and it totally changes your perspective on your own skill set. So always be putting yourself in a position to be uncomfortable, because that's going to allow you to grow. All right, I hope you found this video helpful. Hope you can implement some of these things and not make the same mistakes I did. If you have any questions on any of these, please let me know in the comment section and I will answer your comment. If there's other topics on oil painting you want to see videos on, let me know in the comment section. I will make a video on that. If you want to know the kind of materials I use to paint, I put links in the descriptions of all my videos to the materials I get, so you can get them too. You can follow me on Instagram and see what I'm painting on a daily basis at Forza43. I'm Chris Fornatero here telling you to go get painting.